Hi fans of high quality entertainment. Now, in the early 70s, I don't know how I came across it, but I had a classic rock album that was released in 1970, so I was about 12 years old, and the title song from the album I absolutely loved, and I still love to this day. The rest of the album I just didn't connect with. I don't think I even gave it a chance, actually, because I was so focused on the title song from this album. So, the 1970 classic rock underrated album from 1970 I'm talking about is... By the way, I don't have it on CD, but I'm going to order it on CD after listening to it again last night. Focus. Atomic Rooster, Death Walks Behind You. I truly believe if a few of you watching this video check out the song, the main song, Death Walks Behind You, but then check out the rest of the album, someone out there is going to become a fan of either Atomic Rooster or just this particular album. They also had the next album they released, I also remember back in the 70s and enjoying actually more at the time than Death Walks Behind You, in hearing of Atomic Rooster. And it's different, it's not as heavy as Death Walks Behind You. But anyway, I'm going to have a link for at least two songs, Death Walks Behind You and maybe one other one. But in the last year or so, I've listened to this album and all the songs on it a couple of times, and I started thinking, the rest of this album is just as good as Death Walks Behind You, which is an epic song. I'm actually going to read from rateyourmusic.com just a bit more about it, because this really kind of explains what the music is like. But anyway, I am impressed with the whole dang album. But I guarantee, I think, sometimes when you listen to a song or a band or an album, you don't like it right away and it takes a few listens. I think with this particular album, or at least Death Walks Behind You, the song, a lot of you are going to like the song right away. It's got a killer riff, it's really catchy, and just last night listening to the whole album, it's like, oh my god, this is good. This is gonna be my next underrated classic rock album. So, giving credit to Metroidvania on rateyourmusic.com, this person writes about Death Walks Behind You. I find it utterly astonishing that even based purely on the strength of this album, Atomic Rooster are not hailed as gods of 70s hard rock. Now, I really enjoyed their debut, and by the way, their debut featured Carl Palmer, who later on, of course, was in Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Now, I really enjoyed their debut, a prog rock classic, but Death Walks Behind You is effing phenomenal. Seriously, any fan of hard, psychedelic rock needs to hear this one right now. Where the debut was mostly a prog album with heavy leanings, light on guitar, but employing King Crimson-esque melancholy in the songwriting and structure, this album just goes all out with the late great John Ducan firing out blazing riffs and solos that rival many of his contemporaries in the likes of Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, and so on. Opening with a dark, doom-laden title track, with its clever blend of rock and riff and crazy Hammond organ. I'm not a big fan of, the Hammond organ or anything, but Vincent Crane, great keyboardist. It should have you hooked. But it only gets better from there. Moving on to the crazy Jethro Tull style instrumental Vug, or V-U-G. This should please anyone who thought Atomic Rooster had left their prog roots behind. Tomorrow Night should be familiar to some rock fans, as it was a minor hit, I think in the UK at least. Then it just goes on. My personal favorite is the seriously amazing Sleeping for Years, easily one of the most epic 70s rock anthems I've ever heard, with a brilliantly air guitar riff, catchy vocals, and a lurching psychedelic freakout in the middle. It should be hailed as a legendary track for all to hear. Then there's a couple other songs here, and then the final song, ending with the King Crimsonish Gerschatz, or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's an instrumental, which is a prog classic, meandering mechanically like the best math rockers of all time. And there's a drum solo in it, which I'm not crazy about listening to drum solos, but this one's interesting. The drummer is phenomenal. Then there's this crazy guitar solo, My Dinner's Ready. And you just have to listen to the whole track, but hopefully you listen to just the song Death Walks Behind You. I think a lot of you will like that, and then check out the rest of the album. So I'll have a link for either Spotify or YouTube in the comment section. I'll have it pinned, or maybe even here, or at the end of this video I'll have a couple of videos for Atomic Rooster's Death Walks Behind You from 1970. Highly, highly recommended by me, Larry Graves, the Canadian Studmuffin. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye. And I just wanted to add that this is the British, the original album cover for Death Walks Behind You with this cool painting. But the one I had, I think in the States and Canada, was this one, which isn't quite as, but it's still kind of a cool cover anyway. So I hope you check it out. Thank you.